Yo, what's up, everybody? If you haven't heard about Anchor, let me tell you, this is one of the easiest ways to make a podcast. First of all, it's free. Second of all, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit the podcast right from your phone or computer. Third, Anchor will also distribute for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Then you can also make money from the podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. Later.
Welcome to The Lion's Den with Seth, a podcast where progressive men and women can learn and teach each other the ways of the land. The Lion's Den is where royalty comes to council. Ladies and gentlemen, your host, Seth.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Lion's Den. I'm your boy, Seth, and I am so excited about today's show. But before we go into that, I got a little issue. All right. My issue is I had some brunch today, and my man's Herm. He over here. He can vouch for me. How was that brunch, bro?
It was good.
All right, y'all. Listen, one of our sponsors, right, Kevlar's Grill. They do brunch on every first and third Sunday, and today, sweet baby J. Bro. All right. So, what was it that caught you?
So at first, when you look at the building of the VFW, you think, man, ain't gonna be nothing in there.
Yeah, it won't gonna be nothing. Right.
But you go in there and see the variety of the food that they put out.
Yes.
That fried chicken that they had in there,
Right.
that macaroni cheese they had in there. You know what I'm talking about?
Couldn't believe it.
Bro, me and my kids was happy, man.
Man, listen, not only was the food good, but then they also had $3 mimosas. Can you dig it? $3 mimosas.
Right.
Only three. Okay? It was outstanding.
But what did I have to drink?
Man, you know what? You being a nutcase. What did you get? Like two shots?
I got two
Jack?
double shot of Jack for but that go with eggs.
Don't
right?
nobody do that first thing in the morning. So that's the difference between somebody being a gentleman and somebody being an alcoholic, right? But he wouldn't even think. But seriously, y'all, we're gonna go back into that and really want to give them a shout out. But I want to let y'all know that the food was outstanding. So big shout out to them. But all right, we got my man's Will. What's going on, brother?
What's going on? What's going on, Pride?
All right. And welcome to the Lion's Den. We have the Chief Woods. Oh, wait, but yeah, Ronni Woods, huh? There you go.
Yeah, buddy.
There you go.
Yeah.
How you feeling, brother?
Man, I'm finally in the Lion's Den.
Finally?
Man.
Oh, man. Listen.
Hey, yo.
Man.
This dude right here is persistent, man. He been on me for about 2 months.
Bruh.
Trying to get up in here. And I'm like, man, I got you, bro. I got you, bro.
You recognize talent, bro.
And he was on me, man. And without him, man, and the things that he doing, man, being so inspiring, I wouldn't be here. So
Yeah, right.
I'm finally in the den,
stop
man.
it, man.
We
Listen.
about to keep it
We're
real.
gonna keep it real, 100,
Okay.
and that's one of the reasons why I was so persistent in hollering at you, because just like that real is a dying breed. You know what I
Facts.
mean? It's a dying breed, and is individuals that wear the uniform, but they forget who they are, and you can
Right.
tell, right?
Right.
But you have a certain quality that I've seen, not just how you treat individuals that's higher ranking than you, but individuals that's lower ranking than you.
Yes.
And that right there, I said, you know what? I wish I had that 10 years ago.
Right.
You get what I mean? So
Right.
welcome. Seriously, welcome. So, hey, before we, get into all of that, tell us about Ronni.
Well, to tell you a little bit about Ronni, Chief Throwback, Chief Woods, whatever you want to call me, you got to go where it all started. West Side Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Can you dig it?
There it is. All right.
West
All
Side
right. Give it up for Chicago.
Right.
Right
So-
on. Okay.
So grew up, on the west side of Chicago, a lot of gangs, drugs, violence, prostitution,
Right.
you name it. I went through it. Mom and dad was hard working, but they had their challenges, man. They had their challenges, yo. Dad was addicted to alcohol. Mom was addicted to drugs. A lot of children in the house. Got 4 sisters. Got 2 brothers. We did what we need to do. Joined the Air Force. Actually, my parents moved to Virginia when I was 17. So when they moved to Virginia when I was 17, my mom was like, do you want to stay in Chicago or do you want to go to VA? I'm like, man, I ain't trying to go no VA. No disrespect to my peeps out in VA, man. But I'm like, yo, I'm not trying. I'm
Compared to the side, right,
I'm
right,
like, nah,
yeah.
man, this is home,
That's
man.
right.
So I went and moved with my grandma, and that was the best thing ever happened to me because I came from a very unstructured home, unstructured environment, and then when I went to my grandma's house, it was very structured, and I needed that last year before I became a young adult. You know, had a very important conversation with my grandma. She was like, "Yo, what you gonna do? You gonna join? You gonna either join the military or go to college?" And I was like, you know, I'm gonna go to the Air Force,
Right.
And here we are.
So, I mean, what was your thoughts, though, as far as the military prior to? Hold on. Is your phone over there? I don't know. I'm hearing some feedback. But anyway, what was your thoughts coming in the military? Like, did you think that you were going to do 20 years or you just want to get the experience just to lead a shy? Or what you do? What did you want to do?
Man, so the big thing when I was a senior in high school, like all my partners was going to UPS and going to do that thing because they was like hiring us like crazy back then. And they was making good money. So, you know, I was like, but I always wanted to lead a crib. I always wanted to lead a West Side. So I joined the military, and it was supposed to be a pit stop. It was supposed to be, boom, in and out. And then I hit that 4-year mark. I was like, you know what? Matter of fact, this is what happened, man. So I went on leave. I went home on leave like 4 months before I was going to get out. And I went back, and all my homeboys was doing the exact same thing that they was doing before I joined.
Preach.
And I got back, I'm like, man, I'm in, yo.
Yo, and you see you didn't miss nothing, right?
Nothing. I had grew so much as a person. I had been like to different countries, different states. I had met people from all over the country, whether it was the West Coast, whether it was the East Coast, whether it was down south, whether it was other states up north where I'm at. And I was a changed person at that point. So I was like, you know, nah, I'm good.
All right.
I'm cool with this.
All right.
So when you went home, the first time you went home, what did you notice a change in your friends, like behavior towards you? Like did they recognize the change in you?
Nah, ain't nothing changed. Like they expected me to be the same cat.
Yeah, I remember that.
Same cat. And I was a different dude, man. So I used to go home, and it was kind of hard to navigate that, man. You know, like, cause I, like a little bit inside of me, I still want to be the same cat. I was like, you know, I'm still. So they used to call me Ron back in high school. I'm like, nah, man, I'm still Ron, man. I ain't Airman Woods. And when I go home, you know, I would have to navigate that. And, you know, by the graces of God, I never got into too much trouble. You know, I would find my way back, you know, to base fill in the blank with the same stripes I had. Because it was some stuff going on, man, you know, at the time. And I'm like, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to y'all, that's for sure. Like if some of that stuff would have went left like it did.
You know, I can relate, and I want you to chime in on that because, Will, you've been here. Not only have you been here forever, but you're born and raised here, so he don't want to fucking leave. But so my thing is, what I wanted to say was, it was hard for me after so long because when I would deploy and I come back home, I saw that the conversations would change, and then the gap begin to grow because your friends that you grew up with couldn't relate anymore. Right. So now I'm excited. I want to talk about Egypt. Right. You know, I want to talk about the pyramids and things that I saw, but I can't talk to someone that's only been on the east side of Detroit and going out of town is considered going on the west side of Detroit. You get what I mean? So, basically. But what you think, Will?
I'm gonna say, coming from a hood or an area that has more challenges than other people, it was challenging to go to the military because you became accustomed to what you know. Right. So I relate that to some I call in the box syndrome. In the box represents where you're at, where you're comfortable. But when you leave, it's a personal challenge because now you got a different world in front of you. Right. So how hard was that transition for you to come from Chicago? Now you have all this structure, all these individuals challenging you like you've never been challenged. How did you react to that?
I struggled like crazy, bro. Like crazy, man. So my first 2 years in the military, I got an Article 15, 4 LORs and 3 LOCs.
You know, I
Well,
want
who's
everybody.
counting?
Hold on, wait. I want people to understand that. No, that's serious. That's
you gotta
serious.
put out for that kind of stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
because right now this is not a mistake.
So here's the
military,
thing.
you know?
Here's the thing, and I ain't joking, bro.
Yeah.
I would have kicked me out. Like Chief Woods, hey, you gone, bro.
Right.
We can't do nothing with you.
Right.
And so I was offered an administrative discharge. And then so, you know, as anybody know, like in the military, like they give you the opportunity to either do a administrative rebuttal or you can do like a physical appearance. I'm like, man, I gotta go holler at this commander, yo. I can't go back. I can't go back. Like, so I went in there and just talked to him, and he ended up keeping me in. Like, he ended up keeping me in, but he was like, if I see you one more time, that's it, it's a wrap. So at that point, like, the light bulb came on. I'm like, man, my life depends on this, man. I gotta clean some things up. So I just started looking at the people around me and just started really just cleaning that up. And it was really that easy, man. It was like, nah, man, you ain't on where I'm trying to be, man. Hey, have fun. You ain't on what I'm trying to be on. You know, all respect, but I ain't on that no more. And started surrounding myself with good people, and boom, shot right up the ranks.
And that's what it takes.
Yep.
So being that you came from that, because I have a similar story about getting in all this trouble and stuff, because coming in the military, people don't realize there's an adjustment period. We don't come in, even after you go through basic, I'm blued up. I still came from where I came from and handle things the way I used to handle them. So knowing that, how do you reach back to the young Ronni Woods and say, hey, I know the path you're going down. This ain't where you want to go. How do you reach that person?
Well, it's kind of tricky with doing that, because one of the things with me is, you know, you got to give time to make that transition, and everybody got kind of a different compass when it comes to like really making that change and really finding out who you are and identifying who you are and making your niche in the military. But I just tell them, you know, just start working on finding out who you are, stay true to yourself, but identify who you are and what you want to be. When you do that, you know, you'll be good. But on a personal level, like, I don't give up on them, because, you know, that commander who I called the day I made chief, I called him up like, thank you. Like, he didn't give up on me. And I ain't sitting here talking to y'all. I'm somewhere on the west side right now, but I definitely ain't right here if he would have did what the book tells him to do. But somewhere inside of him, I'm pretty sure something in his gut was like, you know what this young man is telling me resonates with me. I'm giving one more shot, and here I am.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So going back to that decision, as far as when you had to talk to the commander and you made up your mind that you wanted more, who or what was your anchor as far as individuals back home that you did not want to let down? Like, what was your inspiration to say, you know what, I could take this administrative discharge and just go back to the crib and get it in and deal with individuals that I'm familiar with, but what was it, or who was it that helped you to press on?
Well, first it was my parents.
Okay.
Because my parents had their substance abuse issues, but I still looked up to them, because, you know, like, they still did things the right way. They was hardworking, you know, but they had a disease, man, you know, that they had to overcome. And then it was my grandma. So my grandma, when I lived with her, she was the reason I was in the Air Force at the time. And, you know, I had made her a promise, because I was the one, man. Like, you know, and nobody in my family had went to college. Nobody really had left Chicago. Like, I was the one that was supposed to change the generational, you know, dynamic of the Woods brand. Mm-hmm. And here I'm out here blowing it, man, like on some old stupid stuff. And like I said, when that commander was like, you going back to the west side, I'm like, you know, I gotta change the dynamic.
Wow.
So something to add in about that. So I have a very similar situation. And when I was an airman out at Set Base on the west side, I was going around, always been a hard worker, something that most people come in, they're a hard worker, but those soft skills, how to communicate effectively.
Right.
When someone come at you, not to come right back at them. I think that's the biggest challenge I see with individuals, not knowing who they are, but not knowing how to control that anger.
Right.
Because when you come from some place, you have a lot of things inside of you.
Right.
And if you have not had someone to show you how to deal with those, you do it the only way you know how.
Right.
You say something crazy, you're going to catch these hands. What
course.
they call that? Skibbity paps.
Yeah.
You might catch some of those, right?
Yeah.
But what I found out is, I was looking for someone to tell me good job.
Right.
When you work so hard and you look around and no one tells you good job,
Talk to me.
it can influence you to do something different because you feel you're not appreciated.
Right.
So one thing I offered up to myself, I had a commander tell me, he say, I'm looking at your record. I'm looking at these things people are accusing you of, but that's not who I see, so tell me what's up. And that commander was transparent enough to listen. I had like 9 supervisors, one on paper, but no one ever cared to say, hey, man, how you really doing?
Right.
But I look for that. But I can say the influence that individuals can have on a young person that's coming from an area that's not used to that type of climate is powerful. Because here I am, 18 years later, out of St. Louis, Missouri,
Right.
doing the thing and causing a change across the board where I have those things to take with me.
And you make a great point, so I look at that, I think about that commander, because the commander at the time when he decided to keep me in, he did tell me, you're really good at the job, man. If you clean this stuff up outside of work, man, you own to something. Mm-hmm. And when he gave me that shot, not only was it my parents and my grandma, but it was actually that commander too. I was like, man, I gotta make sure I let everyone know that he made the right call, by believing in somebody, that he shouldn't have believed in, and being able to do that. And, that stuff do give you a joint of confidence when somebody just sitting there want to listen to you and say you're doing a good job and things like that. So no doubt, man.
So so when we talk about development on this podcast, so being that where you came from, overcome everything that you did, what tip would you give somebody that's going through the same, come from the same background as you, as far as, hey, this is the first thing you need to do when it comes to your development?
Well, the first thing you need to do is know who you are, man. You got to really know who you are. And that takes time. So for me, using myself as an example, I didn't really identify who I was till I was 25, man. I had been in the military for 5 years. And I didn't really understand or identify exactly who I was, because when I first joined, I was still trying to identify that. And then once I finally identified who I was, what my strengths and weaknesses are, and when I kind of woke up one day and was like, you know what? I'm about to go in the day and I'm going to be myself, man. Hey, man, I like Jay-Z. I like Hennessy. I like barbecue chicken, man. And I like
all good things.
Hey, I like Chicago sports. And, I came to work one day, and after 2 weeks, I'm like, man, it's working.
Yeah.
Like me being myself is really working. And in turn, when I started doing that, I started to realize on the opposite end of somebody who wasn't like me, they was more comfortable.
There we go.
Because I was sitting back, because I wasn't comfortable around them, I was just quiet. I would just sit back on some straight up in a corner, man, F y'all, man. Y'all do what y'all do, I'm going to do what I do. And then when I started opening up, I started finding some of those commonalities, like football, for instance, like that ain't got nothing to do with race or nothing to do with background or anything. You know what I'm saying? You like the Rams, I like the Bears. We can sit there and talk to each other. And then we kind of find that common ground. And again, with some of the younger guys, when they would see that I would be open about being exactly who I was, I became a magnet. I'm a magnet, man, to people that come from backgrounds like me. I don't know what it is, but they gravitate.
They say game recognize game too, right?
On the real.
And people gravitate to what's real for real. If they see that you are genuine, because you got these people that reinvent themselves in a whole nother way.
Word.
That they come from these areas and they forget all about that, and then they look at you like, how could you be like this? Yeah. Instead of recognizing, I understand why you are like that.
Yeah, and you said something that was real key, not just about the best football team in the world, Detroit Lions, but you also.
Hey, any of y'all make the playoffs this year? Did any of y'all's teams make the playoffs?
Hold on. Hey. All right. I need y'all to understand.
Hey, man.
Can you dig it?
None of y'all made the playoffs.
Listen, go with your game. Hey, bring it down. All right, bring it down.
man.
All right, so listen, but no, what I wanted to talk to you about was something that you said I believe was very profound as far as knowing who you are.
Right.
But the question is, how do you explain who you are to individuals that don't know you? You get what I mean? Because, for example, I can, I like Jay-Z too. I like all that too. And parts of Detroit, parts of, everywhere that I've been, my culture helped me to be who I am. But how do you articulate that to a group of individuals or a totally different culture just so you can feel comfortable? Because you can always be comfortable where you are, but to let them know that it's okay.
Well, in a multitude of ways. Like, be honest with you, a lot of times I don't. I just do it through my actions.
Okay.
I do it through my actions, and just the way that I carry myself and things like that. Now, when I was a squadron superintendent, what I used to do is I used to always have them all come in one by one, and I would give them my story. I would give them my story and my background. I go through the Article 15 and all of the struggles. I go through my background, and I really think it's important that they know my story. And I do it that way. But probably the last 3-4 years of my career, it's through my actions. Even my social media page, that is an outlet for me to be relatable and be myself. I use that to show people, dude, I got all these stripes on or whatever, but man, I bleed like you, man. I'm a person, and I got things that I'm passionate about, and I got things that that I want to do, and kind of go from there. And then people just kind of see it.
That's important. But if you have to give some knowledge to individuals that are at that higher tier, how could they best influence change by not mimicking, but taking on some of those tangibles that you utilize to reach people to become more relatable? What information do you think you can post to them on how they can do better as leaders?
Well, so along with knowing yourself, you gotta have a vision, man. Like a vision like that, where you want to be in life. Like, you gotta be where you at, but you gotta be able to express a vision on where you want to go, and the things that you want to do. And you gotta win, man. Like, again, at the end of the day, I had to win is the reason that my words that you all hear is like real. Like, if I wasn't out here winning and I didn't make that vision and those goals, and I ain't go out there and go get it, then the things that I'm saying don't really resonate. So you gotta be able to have like that vision, have those goals, be very tactical, in your way you go by your day to day, but be strategic and want to get to where you want to get in life. And then when you do that, and then when you win, it's just too easy, man.
That's good. Hey, well, listen, everybody, I want to give you guys a chance to give the Chief Woods. Y'all can give him a call. Look, the number is 618-792-6747. Again, the number is 618-792-6747. And if you're on live, you can list your questions out there. And make sure you get this. Hold on, I think we got some. What we got?
I do. First, Aretha Boston. Aretha Boston, I think is very prevalent in the African American folks because no one taught. I don't do that shorthand stuff because no one taught us how to use that anger in a productive way. And then Ashley Jackson, this is a question I really wanted to ask too. Ashley Jackson, have you reached back to your community in which you come from, to the young men and women, to inspire them and let them know that it's more to life and motivate them?
Now, you know what, man? I'm embarrassed to admit I haven't. But so ain't nobody in this world perfect, right? Mm-hmm. So nobody's perfect, and we have these goals, and so I've hit the third phase of my career. So I'm hitting that 20-year point. And I can do 10 more if I want to. That's a different discussion. I don't know, but in that phase, what I want to do is I'm actually talking to the recruiter assistants right now, the RAP program. And as a chief, I want to be able to get on that program and go back to Chicago and be like, look, dude, it ain't all about basketball, football, and sports or going to UPS. you know what? You can do this. And look, check this out, man. I got everything that everybody else got. I'm working a regular job, you know, and show them a little bit of that. But I haven't did it really. At this point in my career, I really want to start doing it. I want to be a little bit more socially conscious and getting out in the communities. Now, I've did it through some of the outlets, you know, in the military, but I want to do more. I ain't did enough. Like from my perspective, I want to do a lot more because I know I got a lot that I can give to individuals in the community. They need to see people like us, everyone in this room. They need to see that success.
You know what, Chief, and I'm gonna call you on that too, just to let you know that we're planning to do that as a unit, and I would like to invite you because what we can do is go into a room and communicate with the youth and let them know, hey, this young man, he's been in for 20 years. This is what he do, and this young man's been in for 20 years, and this is what he do. Right. So you have different paths, right? And each path can still lead to success, right? And people don't understand it, and it's a good caveat to go into the next subject, which we're going to be talking about later on, as far as getting a trade and getting those skills. But we will be doing that in the future, and you're more than happy, you know, welcome to come with us, you know, and getting in East St. Louis, and then going in St. Louis and getting that in. But we got another question, right?
You just can't wear that shirt though.
no, rock the shirt, because I'm always rocking this hat.
I got more of these, man.
From Aretha Boston, she asked this: being that you had Article 15 and that you're open, have a pretty open book, do you feel like when you share that with people, that people look at you negatively?
Oh, yo, it's like gold, man. Like I wear that Article 15 like a badge of honor, man. Like I'm like, look at me, man. Like I almost got kicked out, and I made Chief in 17, man. How many people can say that?
That's right.
And then you know when they see that again, that relatability piece, which I'm very passionate about. Like if it's one thing I'm passionate about as a leader, is I want to be relatable. I want people to not look at me like some dude that they can't achieve them goals. I want them to look at me like, man, just like me, man. I can do this.
That's it.
I agree.
I can do this. Yeah. So I wear it like a badge of honor. You ain't gonna meet too many people that really know me that don't know that story. Cause I tell everybody that story about when I had to fight for my career, and you know, and because I didn't want to go back to the neighborhood. I'm prideful of being from the West Side, but I ain't want to go back.
So it's like being from the hood. I mean, people know your struggle, your trials. They know that they didn't just pin Chief on you.
No,
you know what I mean,
we went out
and
had
to go through something to get there, right?
No, we went out and snatched that thing, man. Nobody gave us nothing.
That's right. Hey, and before we go into the next question, want to ask anybody in the audience got a question they want to ask Chief live on air? Y'all can do it. Get on, come on, you can come on. You don't want to do it? All right, you have funny style. What about you, young man? You got any questions you want to ask the Chief? I know it's your first time coming to the den and everything, but what do you think about this so far? Pretty inspirational? Yeah. All right. Hold on one moment. All right, so we got a call coming in. Who's calling?
Chris.
Chris, where you calling from, Chris?
Navarre.
Oh, Navarre. Okay.
Navarre, Florida.
Oh, all right, Florida. Yeah. Go ahead, man. You're live. Welcome to the
Chris?
Lions Den. You got to ask Chief a question.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, I got a question. Why do leadership sometimes be so quick to give up on the airmen than to actually take the time to help them, you know, work through their issues? Like sometimes they have the mentality like, well, if you don't want to be here, then I'm gonna help you on your way out the military.
Man, that's a great question, man. You know, it's so I'm about to get real Air Force-y on y'all for a sec, man.
Don't get too blue.
Hey, man, I gotta keep it real, yo.
Man, why you calling asking this question, bro? We want to get real. We don't want nothing from the
you gonna talk about the AFI right now?
Hey, man, here come.
All right, go ahead.
Here come Chief Throwback, man. I'm about to give you a little bit of Chief Throwback. So culturally, you know, so in the early 2000, like 2010, like, so we had a lot of force management issues where we had to release, you know, a lot of people from the military. So one of the key things about me when they had a little bit of patience with me, like we was a totally different force at the time. We was a force where, you know, like we want to keep as many people as we can, but then we got to a point where we had to start cutting people. So when they started cutting people, that threshold got a lot less. Like I said, I would have kicked me out. And I'm cool as a fan, man. Like I believe in a lot of people and would give them chance after chance. But I was on chance like number 8, you know. But here's the thing, you know, a lot of times, you know, what we struggle with as an Air Force and what we need to get right is along those lines when we are having that process where we administratively separating people or whatnot, like we still got to care about those individuals.
There you go.
And I don't use it as a negative because I think it's a trait that's very difficult to do. You know, like it's difficult for a parent to give you like a spanking and still show that they care. Like it's something that it's only a few people that master the art of being able to say, you know what, you did something wrong, but I'm still here for you. And, you know, we got to teach ourselves to be able to do that better and do that along the way, because when you do that, you know, even if they do walk away, you know, they walk away knowing that, you know, he or she got my best interest in mind.
There you go. Hey, I want to thank you for calling in, man. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Chris.
All right, Chris.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. So, I'm sorry. We got somebody else? Another question? All right. You have a question? Oh, that was your question? Okay, good. All right. So, listen, I want to thank you, brother. I want to thank you for coming in and everything.
Hey,
you know,
man,
because,
the Lions Den was what's up,
You didn't
man.
have to, you know. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you here, you know,
Hey,
like you know, like Hov said. But I appreciate you, man. I really do. And you're always welcome. And we want to make sure that everybody see you and reach out to you if they have any questions for you. Now, what's your Facebook page? Because I'm sure you're not close to individuals reaching out to you, correct?
No, I'm not, man. You know what? Ronni Woods. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on all of it. I don't say no to anybody that want to follow me, but I don't ask. You know what I mean? So reach out to me. If you don't want to follow me, you can always hit me up on the messenger. Like, I'm totally open to this. I want to give like this 20 years and these successes and these failures, you know, I want to give it back. You know, I'm going to be me. I'm going to be 100. You know, and some people don't want to hear that, and that's cool. But, you know, before I leave, I want to tell you all, thank you for having me on, because one of the things about me being relatable, doing stuff like this only helps that, you know, so I really do appreciate you all bringing me on and let me chill and chop it up with you all. And I wish y'all so much success moving forward. Y'all got my full support. Hey, man, y'all on to something big, man. Keep doing it, man. The Lions Den.
Up in the building. Up in the building. Up in the building. Hey, but listen, we thank you, brother. We do thank you.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to transition, though. We're going to transition. But before we do, I want to give a special shout out to our sponsor, the Kevlar's Grill. Oh, my goodness. Hey, the Kevlar's Grill. Make sure y'all check them out there. 1516 Old State Route 158, and that's in Belleville. So if you're at Scott Air Force Base, that's right out the back gate. All right. And so it's inside the VFW. Make sure you go inside the VFW. That's where they're located. And they have Grubhub. So if you want to act funny and be lazy, holla at them. Okay. You can holla at them, and the number, go to their website. Everything is there. They're so very much accessible, very friendly, all types of food and everything. So I want to make sure you guys know about their specials. They have daily specials. Okay. They got the daily specials, and they're only $9. Okay. But yeah, make sure that y'all do this and y'all go and check out the Kevlar's Grill. And don't forget, first and third Sunday is the brunch. Well, how's that brunch, bro?
Man, I'm still feeling it. I ain't eating nothing else all day.
Man, listen, went to the brunch, went to sleep, woke up, forgot what day it was. It was ridiculous. But anyway, special shout out to them, and we will be right back.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. The Lions Den podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you for your support. Now, back to the show.
Yo, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Lions Den. So this second half, we're going to be discussing college versus trade schools. All right, so we got my man's Larry. How are you feeling, man?
Hey, I'm feeling good. I love this topic.
All right, we got Larry, then we got the Ceramic King in the building. What's going on, Ceramic King? All right, come on up closer to the mic. All right.
What's going on, Seth?
All right, man, nothing much. And then we also have Miss Yolanda Woods. How are you, ma'am?
Blessed and highly favored. Blessed and highly favored.
I ain't heard that, bruh, since the 80s. Okay.
I should use that one.
Bruh. All right. And then we got representing the almighty Q's up in the building. We got Big Al in the building. How you feeling, brother?
I'm good.
All right. Good. So, all right. So the first thing first, I want to say thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming. And we here at the Lions Den, and I'm speaking for everyone when I say I appreciate what you guys do in the community, because if it wasn't for organizations and individuals like you, we would not be able to connect our youth to other options. Okay, so we're going to go around starting with you, brother. You know, introduce yourself and tell everybody what it is that you do and your why.
I'm Ariane Johnson, owner of Ceramic King and Home Improvement. Also founder of Ceramic King Academy. I'm a carpenter by trade, but I love my trade. I trade because so many houses of business out here. How can I go broke? I mean, everybody can't go to school, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Everybody could go to school and be in debt. And I need doctors to get well, but on my end, the light got to come on, or the floors got to be repaired, and somebody got to do it. And these days, time I see the trade, man, it ain't there no more. Mm-hmm. Like, I be wanting to trade hours with people that ain't there. Even the kids just don't know what a trade is because they don't see it all the time. They just want to be rappers, or they just want to be, computer technologies because that's what they see. If they see more people like me, or they can hear podcasts like this, they can open up their knowledge of what they need to do.
Mm-hmm. And their options. Options, absolutely. And Miss Yolanda.
Yes.
So also, everyone, want to let you know, not only is she the president of Tuskegee Airman, the chapter in St. Louis, but she's also a Toastmaster master and very advocate. She's an advocate for that professional speaking. But what are your thoughts as far as the college versus trade school? So what are your thoughts?
Well, I come from it from a very unique perspective. As a Tuskegee Airman, a lot of people think there's 1,000 pilots or 450 who went to combat, and that's all there are for Tuskegee Airmen. But the Tuskegee Airmen actually number in around 18,000, around 10 to 15 people per pilot. So there were maintenance people and parachute packers and administrators and a whole bunch of people that helped them fly their airplanes. So it doesn't matter if we're coming from a trade area from their houses, but if you want to know where the next careers may be, there are a lot of hands-on jobs that are going to be required to become the next pilot, air traffic controllers, stewardess, and the whole field. And there's some scholarships that we're going to share today that help you do that.
Yes. And so we're going to get back to that. So, brother, explain to me not just what you've learned and the importance of it, but how are you giving back to the community?
What I learned, most I learned was hands-on. I learned that I can read everything in a book, but hands-on, I understand it more. So I'm giving back for us. Like, I got a trade school where I'm teaching people to trade, teaching people there's a better way of living, that you can control your own finances. Like, even at youth from age 16 to 21, I teach the trade 100% free. I teach them how to do floors.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Say it again for the people in the back. How much is that?
100% free.
100% free. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to understand how much a trade school can be. Getting that traditional learning, it's upwards to $100,000 to $200,000 to get that, and you are giving that for free. Why? Why are you doing that?
To be honest, I did an experiment with myself, and I got younger cousins and stuff, and no, they don't. They look at, like, the program I went through with St. Louis Job Corps, but the way my society looking at Job Corps like it's a bad thing. But I don't owe nothing in student loans. I mean, it was free. I learned a carpentry trade, but they don't want to go there, so I try to see how can I better help them. So if I do it on a different scene where they comfortable at, and show them the trade, and show them how it's helping me, how I don't have a house note, I don't have a car note, nothing like this, and it's legal money. So I said if I show them a better way that they can understand it more. So I let them come to the job sites with me to see it, or just to show them that after you read that tape measure, which you already learned in third grade, that it's easy. It's just a different way of cutting it by this tool here, because anywhere it goes when you do work, your name go through the grapevine. It's either going to be good or bad. I've been out here 12 years, so you can't have nothing go through bad because
Congratulations.
people going to talk. and you want your name to be good out there. So no, I'm Ceramic King. I stand behind it. I got Ceramic King Academy, which I had a goal, which I'm still like. I just needed a voice. I want to teach 100 people, 100 black men to trade in 2020. Like, even if it's something simple, just laying a ceramic floor or laying a wood floor. Like, people patch holes in apartments all day and make good money. Like, you ain't got to learn everything. You just learn something. It's going to keep you going. Because, like, if you look outside, it's too many houses and businesses to ever go broke. You just change your price to the community.
Oh, that's good. That's good. What you got?
For me, and how I relate to this topic is, I'm a big believer in education. So for me, I took the college route. Then I decided to join the Air Force. But when I joined the Air Force, I really wanted to learn a trade. So I was advocating for HVAC. I wanted to learn something to where I can apply it in my personal life, because I was only going to do 4 years in the military and get out. But my life took a different route, and I ended up just chasing my degree and just doing my thing in the Air Force. But I'm an advocate for trade school as well, because not everybody is meant to be, or not everybody is a college, academic type person. Some people just want to learn something with their hands. Right. So I'm an advocate for both routes. You figure it out, and then you accomplish whatever it is you're trying to do on that route.
Well, so Ms. Yo, got a question for you.
Yes.
How does the organization that you, being the president of Tuskegee Airmen, how do they give back?
We give back in a lot of ways. So, and it starts as early as a 6-year-old. I want to get a 6-year-old up in an airplane, because if I fly him in an airplane, then I can expand his horizons. And there's lots of little stories, because if you fly an airplane, what else can you do? And if you fly an airplane, you fly over a house, and in that house, which is maybe 2 inches tall from way up there, there's a person in that house, and that person may tell you you can't succeed, but then I can tell you, are you going to let somebody that big, 1 inch tall, get in the way? So, we partner with organizations that have, they're called Young Eagles, where you can fly for free, sometimes even get a lunch for free. All you have to do is bring your kid out to the runway to fly. And we get some kids that'll come out there, my mama doesn't let me do it because she hasn't been in the airplane. I'm going, we got to get out of the way of some of our kids.
There we go.
We also have programs where Southwest Airlines, continuing the legacy, they will fly a kid and a parent from 6th grade to undergraduate college students down to Texas for a weekend, and they get to explore the entire Southwest world.
Wow.
And Southwest pays for airfare and hotel and the meals for the kids. We have scholarships for high school seniors. Last year, we provided a 3-week program for one kid to go solo on airplane, from no to solo, all on the dime of an ACE camp. This year, there is a partnership with SLU. They have a 5-day aviation camp. It normally costs $800. The Hugh J. White chapter, plus one other person who's going to be a sponsor, has 2 scholarships. So they can go to SLU and look up the aviation camp at Park. It's a residential, 5 days. They can apply online, and then they can send us a note and contact me through the Tuskegee Airmen STL website. And 2 kids will get to go on our dime and represent the Tuskegee Airmen. So it's going to be the exact same application, but they have to answer one extra question. How are they going to represent the Tuskegee Airmen legacy? Because I don't want to give my money to a kid who doesn't know who's giving him the money.
There you go.
But that's just one of the opportunities we have, and they can follow up on them if they go to the Tuskegee Airmen website, because I keep on putting up there, here's another opportunity, here's another opportunity. And I'm sad when I have an opportunity for kids to fly, and we send home the pilots early that, by the way, look like us, because there's not enough kids to take advantage of a free flight.
I understand.
That's pitiful. We need to get better than that.
Right. Wow. So to pivot to you, Big Al, so explain to me what the Qs are doing and how do they give back to the community? Because there's a stigma out there that, y'all get it in and that's it, right? You go, you pledge, and I'm a Q and I'm partying until I die. That's it. But so this is a time to really elaborate more on what the Qs actually do within the community. What do they do?
So starting out, the name of the fraternity is Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
There you go. Right.
And I am part of the New Chi chapter, East St. Louis grad chapter. So that is the stigma that's out there, but we do more. So like we have a program which I am a part of called Project Manhood, where we mentor young men from ages 8 to 18.
Okay.
And so what we do is that we prepare them for college life, help them with SAT and ACT testing. We also help them, with life skills. We take them on outings. We have a chess club where they play chess. We just had a chess tournament this past Saturday. We also give out scholarships as well. We have, I think we've given out like about 8 scholarships in our last Founders Day banquet, where children did essays, and that's how they earned their scholarship. Okay. Through the foundation, through Project Manhood Foundation. We always are doing things with these young men, and it's open to the public. We meet at the Mary Brown Center in East St. Louis. The address escapes me, so please forgive me. But you're more than welcome to come and be a part. If you have a young man who needs a little guidance, who needs some male structure, we're there to do that. Okay. And we do that willingly. We want to do that. We want to help them.
Okay. All right, that's good. Well, look, switching over to you, Ceramic King, right?
Yes, sir.
So is there a thought process that you only, because I know with your organization, Al, you focus on the young men, but what about your organization or your business? Are there any young ladies, or is it opportunity for the young ladies that may be interested in carpentry? How do you, how do you deal with that? Or do you open it up general to any youth, or do you just target the young man?
Well, Ceramic King Academy, that was just the free. I do teach it different courses, like a $90 course for ceramic tile. Mm-hmm. That's for women, men, and anybody. Mm-hmm. Just I was focusing more on the youth because they just lost. Mm-hmm. They just don't know it's an easier way that I can teach them without them having to go get a traditional 4-year degree, which is nothing wrong with it, but it's an easier way to do it. Mm-hmm. I got I'm coming up with something with a lady, can't remember her name, but I'm doing a women course. It would be like the second week of March. We're gonna be a women's in carpentry, like ceramic tile. They do their own backsplashes, and
that's awesome.
I can charge you $350 to come and do it, or you can.
Congratulations, though. Seriously, that's real good.
Or you can come and learn it and see that it's nothing just a system. Mm-hmm. I mean, once you get the system down pat and do it the same way it's supposed to be done, and don't try to cut corners, it's actually not that hard. Mm-hmm. And just always keep that tape measure on you. It's easy. Okay. People give me the opportunity, just come to my job sites and just to see the job, and you'll be interested in it. Mm-hmm. But like she was saying earlier, people, when I ask the teens for free, they don't bring their kids out. And I get discouraged sometimes. I'm like, they ain't even bringing their kids out, and it's easy. They can go patch a hole from there if they can get their deposit back in their apartments or something. Mm-hmm. But our thought process has to change in some.
That's the key. That's the key. Absolutely. And I believe that's absolutely right. Go ahead. You got something now? Go ahead.
And another thing too, like with trades, a lot of people think that trades, you really don't make money. You can make a lot of money in a trade. I mean, sometimes I just think about that. I'll be like, man, I spent all that money going to college to get this degree, and this dude over here getting paid. Mm-hmm. I'm in the wrong field.
Right.
But it's like, a lot of people don't know, and that's all about you not knowing. Mm-hmm. And if you don't ask, you're not gonna know. Stop being afraid to ask a question. Don't worry about your friends looking at you saying, oh, that's dumb, or you dumb, or that's a stupid question. Don't worry about that. Ask the question you want to ask. You will get the answer that you need, and you can press forward. While they sitting over there laughing, thinking that you dumb, but you're not. You're trying to get the message for yourself, the information for yourself.
That makes sense. And Ms. Yo, what about you as far as, or the Tuskegee Airmen? Are there individuals that the youth can see that they can relate to, not just the men, pilots, like female pilots and...
Well, we have a whole range. That you have to understand, Tuskegee Airmen are not just black men. Mm-hmm. They're women, they're officers, they're enlisted, they're civilians. There were 5 Haitian pilots, so they're even American and non-American. And they had a whole range of career fields. There's a good joke that says, you know, a doctor called the plumber, and the plumber went upstairs to fix the bathroom in his mansion and shut the door, rattled the pipes for 2 hours, and came out and said, that's $400. And the pilot said, or the doctor says, I can't handle that. He goes, I know, I was a doctor last week.
Right.
So we have to change our perspectives. The Tuskegee Airmen had all those jobs. And so there is no bad job. It's how you do it. Mm-hmm. And what we have to do, I go out and speak to a lot of schools, from elementary all the way to college and to grown folks. And it's always funny because it's 6th grade, up to 6th grade, a lot of times we used to see people and says, I want to be this when I grow up. It might be a teacher, maybe the plumber, maybe the janitor. It was whoever they saw. And then around 7th grade, they start saying, oh, I think that might be too hard. And around high school, they stop asking questions. We have to engage our youth and say, what do you want to be? Because nowadays, they don't even have an answer. And we got to get them to say, I don't know. Guys sometimes say they want to be a basketball player. Girls say they want to be a beautician. Both of them are possibilities, but they have to have a plan B. Mm-hmm. And we've got to ask them, oh, you want to be a basketball player? Great. Did you do any push-ups today? Did you do any layups? Did you do any sit-ups? Did you eat any vegetables? You want to be a beautician. Do you know what lye will do to that person's head? We've got to start engaging them and exposing them to different career fields. Because if we do, they will find out that they have some skill sets that they didn't know about. And the Tuskegee Airmen provide lots of role models. I mean, if you watch the Super Bowl, you saw Charles McGee.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He flew an airplane at 100. Mm-hmm. He just spoke to NASA, and I wouldn't be surprised if next week he's in space. Man's incredible. Mm-hmm. But he's not the only Tuskegee Airman who's reached it. We have lawyers and judges and plumbers, the whole range of career fields that after they served in the military, they went on. I was a major in the Air Force. Now I'm a personal trainer. So now I get to use my skill set just to tell you what to do, which is fun. I have to admit I enjoy. But I didn't need a degree to become a personal trainer. I just had to have a certificate. But it's my passion, and I think that's what we have to find. You need to find your passion, because then it's not going to a job. It's going to do something that you love.
That's right. That's right.
Sure. That's right. I'm going to go back to what she's saying. It's what they see. They just see beauticians and they just see basketball players. We're not exposing them to what they need to be exposed to. And I'm a firm believer on that.
Come on up, son.
We're not exposing them what they need to be exposed to. Like my son said he wanted to play basketball. I tell him when I was his age, I didn't know nothing about ceramic. I didn't know what ceramic was. No one ever showed me that. That's all I seen was basketball players, beauticians. Only people I seen was succeeding in life was basketball players. I didn't know that plumber, he might be dirty, but he making good money, like excellent money. I ain't understand that at times because people didn't show me those things. But now I'm seeing things and I'm understanding. Like I can get a call, I can get a Facebook message, or somebody can tag me something on a Monday, and by Wednesday I done made $1,500 off that job because it don't take me 3 or 4 days to do it. I know how to systematically do it in a timely manner where I can make that money quick. But it's like I had to learn it. I had to be interested in it. But if I was interested in it as a teen, I don't know where I'm 30 right now. I'd be way beyond where I need to be at right now. But that's why I want to expose the youth to understand, like, it's more than a nail and a hammer. You ain't got to use a nail and a hammer. We can read this video and you can use the Airman gun. Make it easier and quicker. I mean, we just got to stop cutting corners and expose our kids to more. And, he can build you a house. I mean, he ain't got to be the one drawing it. Your other son could draw it up and he can build it.
Definitely. There are a lot of opportunities out there. For instance, Boeing has there's a shortage of pilots, and there's United and Delta are trying to train people to be pilots. But Boeing has a shortage of people to build the airplanes, to go from 2D to 3D drawings. So there are some opportunities out there, and if you have the skill set to do that, you could write your own ticket. There are opportunities out there. Are you willing to work for it? That's the key. Are you willing to work for it?
And listen, and great points. I just want to open it up and make sure everybody know if you have a question that you want to ask a panel, the number is 618-792-6747. Again, The number is 618-792-6747. But we got any questions on live? I think
I got a statement question, depending on how you look at it. It's from Nicholas Jackson. He said,
"What up, Nick?"
He said, "It's not a question, just more of a statement, but we can chime in on it, obviously." He said, "To me, what are you doing to advance and be great? Whether it's trade or college, in my opinion, as long as you're setting yourself up for success and working towards your goal, then you're great in my book. Everyone has a purpose and a passion in what they do. If everyone did the same thing, it would be boring." And then he had another statement that says, "Why can't you do both?"
You can. I met an alderman one time. He was in Chicago, and it was the old days when you could walk to the airplane. And he said he was walking to the airplane and he was wearing a suit because that's how we used to travel in the old days. And somebody said some little old lady needed help. So he helped her carry the luggage to the curb. And somebody says, I'm running late. Can you help me? And he goes, sure. And he carried her luggage to the airplane. And she goes, I hope I'll get there on time. And he goes, I hope so too, since I'm on that flight. Somebody had assumed he was a bag boy, but he wasn't. He was, the alderman. So he had a position. The person who's shining the shoes, if you shine shoes for $10 and you do 6 shoes in an hour, you're making $60. That is much more than I'm making it as a personal trainer. Let me just tell you right now. So it's a question of quality, finding your passion, and getting the skills. And if you work really hard, I go to schools, and I'm going to be blunt. There are 3 ways to be successful in life. Mm-hmm. You could have a skill set. You can lay tile marvelously. You could sing marvelously. That's a skill set. You could work harder than anybody in the world. You could dig that ditch better than anybody else. Or you could have brains. But if you don't have brains, some knowledge base, you don't have a skill set, or you don't have the work ethic, then we have a problem. But I tell you, I have a foot that halfway up your backside can fix some of those.
There you go. Hey, hold on. Look. Hey, so we got a caller in. Nate, you there?
Yes, I'm here. How you all doing?
Hey, we're doing good. Hey, welcome for calling, brother. Go ahead. You got a question for the panel?
Absolutely. And it's definitely great information, and I appreciate those individuals taking the time out of their day to present their information. My thing is mentorship is so important. And I know that I'm part of the system where Upward Bound, I partook in Upward Bound. They really brought in a lot of information, especially speaking on trades and things of that nature. But what are we doing as far as the state institution to build vocational schools, such as aeronautical schools, engineering schools, especially within those communities out in East St. Louis? And what are we doing to get the information out? Because it starts with us producing the curriculum and advancing that, especially with STEM being a high priority.
Hey, good question, brother. Hold on 1 minute. Hey, thanks for calling, though, Big Nate. I'm going to holler at you on the flip-flop. They about to answer, okay?
All right, now.
Okay.
So what I can say from the Omega perspective, we find out the interests of the young men, and then we can go out and get people who are in those fields. So throughout our organization, throughout our fraternity, we have a lot of educated black men. We have doctors, we have lawyers, we have, people who are in the military who are high-ranking, officers, enlisted, the list goes on and on. And people like to call fraternities and sororities legalized gangs, what they want to call us. But what they fail to realize is that this is a big networking tool. It goes across the country, really across the world. And you can find an Omega in every state and city. Same thing with the other Divine Nine is what it's called. So when you join an organization of this magnitude, it's not about like everyone thinks that the Omegas, AKA the Qs, all we do is party. No, we know how to throw a good party, but we're also educated, because in order to throw a good party, you got to know what to do. Again, it comes back to education And education doesn't always come from a school.
That's right.
Education is talking to someone who can give you that knowledge that you didn't know. True. I learn stuff every day. You know, this right here, doing what you're doing, it's a podcast. It's new, it's booming. A lot of people are doing it now. I come from the radio world. A lot of people don't know that. People see me and then they'll see all these people talking to me and they'll be like, who is that dude? Who is he? And those who know me, they'll be like, that's somebody you might want to know because of what he knows. And the thing of it is, they don't know I'm a name drop. I'm just do this just because I can. Mm-hmm. They don't know that me and Russell I can call him up on the phone and be like, yo, what's up?
Ladies and gentlemen, he means Russell Simmons, if y'all don't know that. Yeah, right.
They don't know that because they don't know me. Mm-hmm. So the thing of it is, one of the things when you talk about success, a lot of us are afraid of success. There are people who are very talented. I run across them all the time. One of the things I do, I A&R artists. So my thing is, I'll lead you to the water, but I'm not going to make you drink it. So if you want this, you got to show me that you want it.
Yeah, good point.
Because I can't want it more than you.
And that's a problem if that's the case.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's one of the problems with our youth. They say they want something, but they're scared to go and get it. My son, for instance, he graduated school early. So he's chilling. He works, he's chilling. So he says to me, Dad, I want to take a year off from school after I graduate. I said, to do what?
Absolutely.
I said, what are you going to do? Mm-hmm. He said, well, I'm going to just work and save my money. I said, well, I tell you what, you getting out of school early. So he got out in December of last year. So I said, from December to August, that's your break. You're going to work. You're going to save your money. I told him, you save $2,000, I'll match it. And we'll go get you a car. Because I'm not buying you a brand new car.
That's right.
That's not going to happen. Because you have to show me that you are ready for even the bucket that we're going to get.
You know what? That's good. And I want to talk to, what do you think about that too, as far as communicating with the youth to let them know, or anybody that comes to you and they say, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I want you to answer too from your optics, right? But how do you say, hey, if this is what you want, here's plan A through Z, but it's up to you to do that. How do you communicate that to them?
Honestly, and a little bit forthrightly, I do taxes with AARP in East St. Louis twice. I've been doing it for probably like 5-6 years. And I had a young couple, boyfriend, girlfriend, come down. I introduced them to the word budget. Lord help me. I said there are fixed expenses and flexible expenses, and I just put down an example of rent and party. And he put, I forget what number he put for rent, but he put $1,500 for a party. And I'm like, you do know this is a monthly budget. And he goes, well, those are the only two things. I'm like, okay, we got to go back to you need to have a budget, and that means rent and utilities, and you have to figure out how you do this. Because if I am the first person they've talked to about a budget, about filing your taxes, about the fact that there are 3 retirement plans, you can do it, your boss can do it, or the government can do it, and the government's plan is a supplement. It is your ice cream. It is not your steak and potatoes. Then we have an issue, because they're having financial literacy in school, but they're not paying attention. And if you want to have a job, you need to figure out what kind of lifestyle you want. Because if you don't need very much money, you don't have to work very hard. But if you want something else, then you need to do something else. Because luckily for me, I'm at Cosgrove's Kitchen. So when they say, well, I might do it some later, I'm like, okay, look around. Some of these people did it later. You can come next year for lunch too, and breakfast. And we now have a nice little shelter where you can sleep. The choice is yours, but you got to make that choice. You've got to be willing to ask the question. And if you don't know the answer, just listen a whole bunch, but ask the question so that you know. Because I'll tell people, I'm debt free. I paid off my house in 6 years. I cost the bank $96,000. Mm-hmm. Amen. Right. And I got to retire at 42. And I want other people to be able to call in well. And the only way you call in well to your job is if you're prepared and you don't need it. And I don't need the paycheck. I work because I want to.
Can you dig it?
Hey, that's official. That's official. I love that. Now, what do you think, brother? Like, how do you communicate that to the individuals as far as letting them know, hey, this is a plan for you, an opportunity, but it's up to you to get it in?
I let everybody, all the youth know, everybody got 24 hours in a day. It's how you do your 24 hours. I tell me personally, I don't believe that I should have to work at 45 plus. So if I'm sacrificing my 20s and 30s to be able to work, to be able to live a better life, then that's fine. People my age, they out every weekend in the club or out of town. What are y'all celebrating? Like, honestly, what are you celebrating? Like, do the kids good? Like, I don't be understanding the situation. Yeah. Which sometimes it get frustrating because I can get a youth that's interested, but if the parents gonna keep bringing them, you know what I mean? But a parent can get a youth not interested in something. You know what I mean? Because they not exposing them to the right people or the right sources or things like that. Or, you know, but my main focus with the youth to me when I talk about the 24 hours is because we can do so much in 24 hours. Like we can sit here and we can learn the right way how to do a floor in 2 hours, and I can have you doing it in 5 hours. So you can sit there and take you the whole 24 hours to do it. But if we learn things the right way and be productive about it, because we can't just do stuff to get paid. Like I have people, and this is how I explode people who work for me or youth who I come in. I can tell they're there for just that money or they're there to learn a trade. They there to learn a trade is they get on my nerves with questions, which is good at the end because they need to know they know why I'm doing it. Like, you know what I mean? Why I'm doing it. So if I'm doing it wrong, I can fix it. So that'd be my main issue with them. So when I see that they intrigued about the situation, I push even harder with them. I teach them how to do this, do that. I show them why they shouldn't be doing this. I teach them the tricks of the trade because I went to Job Corps as a carpenter. All the ceramic stuff I learned on my own. But I realized that tape measure was like, it's like the Bible. When you can read that tape measure and take something apart and put it back together, people pay you for that. Like people actually pay good for that. And when you make your own prices, it's a blessing. Because people don't know what stuff costs. I go to people's houses as doctors and people that's got hands and I'm putting a toilet in for $200. I'm like, do you know it's just 2 bolts? Like, if you can come and just look at a YouTube or come to a class that I offer, you can understand that it's easy money. And people, they just don't know the good money in it. I'm going to be honest with you. But the youth, I don't want them to look at it as money. I want them to look at it as longevity. Because when you get, like me, I'm not paying nobody to redo my kitchen or bathrooms. I do all of my work myself, so the only thing I'm paying for is material. I just got one of LRA properties, and if somebody else got the same property, it cost them over $100,000 to fix, but I'm gonna do it in 40 because I'm doing all my own work. So I just encourage them to learn any trade. I don't care what it is, just learn something. Just the way if that job get laid off or your boss want to make more money by moving the company to China, you got your own trade. You can be self-efficient because self-efficient is the best way to be. Social Security is good, but is it gonna be there when we get to the age?
Probably not.
But the house gonna be there. He got 3 bathrooms. She got 2 bathrooms. That tile ain't gonna last forever. That tub gonna get old. The floor is gonna get walked on every day. So if you learn something as simple as a trade, any trade that you're gonna always make money. That's guaranteed. Like I'm guaranteed. If Home Depot shut down, I better still make money. I mean, if I don't have a car, if you put me in a city where I never been and just show me where the Home Depot and give me a truck, I can guarantee to make my way back and make good money. Because my work ethic gonna speak for itself. You know what I mean? It ain't just me teaching them to try. I want them to show them be a people's person with your client. You know, people gotta be comfortable around you.
So building relationships, what you're saying.
You gotta build relationships with people. You got to. If you don't build relationships with people, you'd be amazed. Like I said, they don't know who you is, but he the guy that I need to meet, he knows somebody got 50 bathrooms in a hotel. Mm-hmm. You know, but if I want a people's person and open up and talk to him, we ain't uniting to save our future, then where we at? So waiting on somebody else to feed us. With me as a hustler, I eat when I want to eat. I mean, I get up when I, you know what I mean?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't want somebody to feed me. Yeah. I mean, I got a system where I want to retire early, so I'm not sitting in the bed past a certain time. Or, if I ain't got my kids, I'm out doing some type of work because I know every hour matters. I know that somebody else, it's competition out there, but I'm not afraid of competition. I want to show people a better way. So at first I said, well, I'm gonna do it at school because I'm not gonna train my competition. Then I thought about it, like it just can help me out more better. And then if I want to retire at 45, if I train so many people, Ceramic King even bigger. I can franchise, or I learn from Ceramic King. And they know that I got an A+ at Better Business Bureau, and somebody they're gonna hire him because he learned from the best.
You know what? And I want to ask you all this question, but I want to start with you, Big Al. And you said something though, E, about discipline, right? You make it a choice to get out of bed a certain time, no matter what, right? Because that's having that hustler's heart, and I can relate to that. But Al, what do you think it takes as far as what type of discipline does it take? And Ms. Yu, I want you to answer in your own point of view as well. What do you think as far as the discipline?
Well, the discipline comes from a few areas for me. So for me, discipline came from growing up in a household where you seen your parents getting up, going to work. Your parents instilled that in you. Your grandparents, you know, you're surrounded by that positive role model. You know, kids today, forgive me, they are lazy as hell.
Right.
And I tell you, my son is this is what I call him. Y'all have to forgive me for this. He's a last minute ass.
What's the last
A last minute ass is, you know, that you have to be somewhere at 7 o'clock. You're getting up at 6:30.
Oh, no.
Yep.
So
My generation.
So it's like, what are you doing?
Right.
You know, I have to be at work at 7 o'clock. I'm up at 5. I have to drive 45 minutes to work. So I'm up at 5, getting myself together, out of the door at 6, at work, depending on traffic, 6:45. Sometimes a little early. But people want somebody to give them something versus them going to get it. Now, I'll say this. I use this term, I'm a better coach than I am player.
Okay.
So let's take you being on radio. Can I give you a solid on-air shift? Yes, I can. But I can make you better than me.
There we go.
Because I'm not that interested in being on air. My interest is being behind the scenes, controlling and teaching my staff, because I want them to excel and get all of these things. When you're in radio, people instantly think, oh my God, he's making a lot of money. I'm gonna give you a quick story. When I was doing radio in Omaha, Nebraska, yeah, there's black people there. Right. I was doing radio there. I was only doing weekends, Friday and Saturday night, hosting the mix show. I was the host, the on-air talent, and I had a staff of mixers. My son's mother was at work, and she was speaking, and she was like, my on-air name was Big Al, and she was like, yeah, you know, Big Al, he was this, that, and the other. And one of her coworkers said, oh my God, Big Al's your baby daddy? And she was like, yeah. She was like, what is he like? She was like, I don't know, regular. But people, it's the perception that you're making a lot of money, which in essence, the only way you make a lot of money in radio is if you're a morning show host, B, in afternoon drive. Those are the two most important day parts in radio. The other is that you're a program director, operations director, or sales manager, or GM. That's where the money is. So anything else, you know, you up in there, you making your money, but you make more money doing those positions. Now, those people who are not doing those positions, you know, are doing the other day parts, they make decent money, but they make more money when they go out on location and do these remotes, when they're live from the club, when they're live from this store. they get paid for that. The company that is having you come out there, they're paying you for that. So, and the radio station has a flat rate that jock has to get paid, or that talent has to get paid. So, discipline is from upbringing, and it's also self, because you have to do it. Nobody else can do it for you. So if you're going to be a disciplined individual, you have to instill or develop these skills and this mindset that, hey, this is what I want. I really want this. I want it bad. When I decided to go to college, I had 2 choices in my head. Well, I take that back, 3. It was radiologist, gynecologist, or broadcast.
Hold on, wait. So
I'm gonna tell you.
I know where you at.
I know where you at.
No, you don't.
Yes,
no,
I do.
No, you don't know where I'm at. But since you think you do, but go ahead.
So a lot of people say, why gynecology? I said, dude, do you know how much women have to go to the doctor? I say, I'm not thinking about looking at their private parts. I'm thinking about them dollar signs. But when I found out how much science and math was involved,
you was like, you straight.
in radiology and gynecology, I said, radio looks real good right now.
There you go.
So, and that's
Right.
what I did.
Right.
So, but, I've always had the love for music. I've been DJing for over 30 years. I mean, in clubs. I've been in clubs since I was 16. I'm 51.
Wow.
Still DJing in clubs.
Congratulations. You know what I'm saying? You a man up in the business.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this a long time. So when people come to me and they ask me something, I'm going to ask them something. Because in order for you to get something from me, you got to give me something.
I dig it. So, Miss Yo, what do you think as far as the discipline? What does it take?
Discipline takes determination. My father once said, and it's a quote that I learned all the way back when I was a little older than you. It says, if I am the best that I can be today, tomorrow I can be anything.
Say that one more time so people can understand
If
that.
I am the best that I can be today, tomorrow I can be anything.
There we go.
Now, I don't have to be better than Larry. I don't have to be better than you. I have to be my best, and I have to realize that my best sometimes is not that good. But it's my best, and tomorrow I can fix it. But if I don't become my best, then tomorrow I have no choices. If you don't pay attention in school until you're a senior, you can't say, I want to go to college. If you don't note that 2 comes after 1, then you can't read a tape measure. You've got to have a little bit of discipline. And I'll tell students, you want to piss off your teacher and not get in trouble? Do your homework and then ask them another question. Teach me more. Because that teacher can't go to the principal and says, little Larry wants to know why black Negroes had baseball in World War II. It's not happening. If you don't do your work, that just means that teacher has a weekend off. Because they don't have to do any grading. So you made it very easy, and I thought you didn't like that teacher. Make that teacher's life miserable, give them something to grade. But for me, discipline was learning that I have to look myself in the mirror every day. This is the person that I have to impress. So for me, people will say, I'm just totally honest. I'm probably, I'm too strict. But that meant that if I said something, my commanders knew that was going to happen.
That's right.
I mean, the generals love me. The majors, not so much. The lieutenant colonels, not so much. Because they're like, can you break this rule? I'm like, the regulation says this. Did you want me to break the rule? No, you ain't supposed to ask that question. So for me, discipline is knowing what my job requires, continually learning to do my job, and doing it to the best of my ability. And every now and then, if I made a mistake, it's like, oops, that airplane's about to run over that other airplane. And that happened one time, wingtip to wingtip. Don't let me watch airplanes. But if I make a mistake, I own it. And every day I try to do my best. And if you do that, if you make a mistake, you own it. Don't make everybody look at it like, who did that?
Right.
I did it. And this is how I'm not going to do it again.
So accountability.
Accountability and discipline for me was hand in hand. But that meant that when I retired from the Air Force, I think 2 or 3 generals showed up. God had them at my base. So that was kind of interesting. But my boss was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do it in this little corner." I'm like, "I don't think that'll work."
Uh-oh. Hold on 1 minute. So we got to call in. Hello, are you there?
Rachel Armstrong. Finally listening in.
Rach, how you feeling? So what's going on? You got a question?
Good. No, this is a great topic. Actually, my question kind of goes back to what you asked before about talking with youth. And this is something I know I've talked to a few of you guys about, but I just wanted to get more advice. So when talking about determination and the lanes between school and trade school and things like that, it kind of all came down to what you're willing to do and how much you're willing to, how much you're willing to risk. So my situation right now is I'm stuck in the lane of comfort, kind of. The current job that I have, I'm in the military, obviously, and I'm doing really well at it, but it's not what I want to do. How would you convince me or talk to me about how to get out of this comfort zone and step out on faith, so to say, and do what I actually want to do?
Hold on.
Because it's not as stable. Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear.
Look, how many times we didn't have this conversation? Why are you calling right now? No. You interrupting all this freeness. You get what I'm saying? The juices was going, everything was good, and you calling on something. So you want to hear somebody say something else that I ain't said before. All right, hold on. You got something, Miss Yo, to answer that question? Go ahead.
It is very easy to be comfortable in a tower, in a rich house, or a poor house, because if you move out of that spot, it's uncomfortable.
Yes.
We understand that. Can I say, get off your ass and
Say
move?
it. Say it one more time.
Get off your ass and move, because the difference between today.
Can you dig it?
I didn't say that before, but go ahead.
The difference between today and tomorrow is the choice that you make. If you want tomorrow to be different, then make it different by making one step closer to your goal. Otherwise, you can be satisfied. The kid that decides not to work, we need ditch diggers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, St. Vincent de Paul needs a customer. You can be that customer. I apologize, St. Vincent de Paul, but I want you to be out of business. But if you're in the Air Force and you are not where you want to be, take a step on faith and get there. You may get someplace else, but you will know that you have tried. And when I retired out of the Air Force after 20 years, they said, you don't have to retire, but we ain't going to pay you. I'm like, I'll retire, you pay me. Thank you very much. But I had choices, and the choices I had meant that I didn't have to work. It meant I don't have any regrets, because I lived on faith. I did the best that I could. And if you're not doing your best, young lady, then again, refer to that little point where I said I can put a foot midway somewhere up your backside. And if that's what you need, just imagine that's what just happened.
All right. Hey, what you got for him? Ceramic King. So now you're coming from a different perspective, right? So how would you encourage her if she's doing something that she doesn't like? What would you say about that?
I feel if you don't do nothing that you like in life, it ain't gonna be today, it ain't gonna be tomorrow, but it's gonna go downhill where you just gonna crash. You ain't gonna want to do it. You're gonna give up on everything. But now, when you're in the mind state of wanting to change, that's the first step. To me, change is the first step.
Okay, you got it. Go ahead. Yeah.
So you're doing something that you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing something that I don't like. I work for the American Red Cross. I don't like that job. What am I doing to get out of it? I am seeking other opportunities. I am networking. I am talking to people who are versed in the profession that I want to get in. So again, like she told you, get up off your ass and go get it. Because nobody's going to give it to you. Nobody knows what you want, because they don't know what you want because you're not talking to them. So you got to get out there. You got to network. Surround yourself around people who are doing something that you want to do. That's how you do that.
Hey, Ms. Armstrong, we appreciate you calling.
Of course. I'll be by more often.
All right. And look, don't ask no more crazy questions. You didn't heard this before. All right. We'll talk to you later.
I wanted someone to say it nice.
Yeah, whatever. All right now.
Bye.
All right. Hey, so look, I do want to say we appreciate y'all, but one more time, where can people find you at, brother?
Google Ceramic King and Home Improvement. Facebook, Instagram, that's all I got. But just Google Ceramic King, I pull up Better Business Bureau and all.
Better Business Bureau. Like it's official. You like you up there, ain't you? You up there. All right on. Okay, Miss Yo. Where can people find you at in the Tuskegee Airmen?
You can search for Tuskegee Airmen St. Louis. You should find the Hugh J. White chapter. You can use that email to find me, or you could look up my correct spelled name, yolandia.wood@gmail, or you can look up Workout with Yo. Workout with Yo. One word, Workout with Yo. On Facebook, and you can find me there too.
And you're a fitness instructor.
I'm a certified personal trainer at the Metroplex. Right now, I'm with Rotary, I'm with Qantas. So if you have a career that you're trying to figure out, wake up Wednesday morning, meet me at the O'Fallon Township building. I'll buy breakfast for you, and you can meet a whole bunch of people doing a variety of things with Rotary.
Wow. Free breakfast. A free breakfast. Look, see, you only heard the breakfast. Crazy. All right. Thank you, Miss Yo. Miss Yo. All right, what you got, Big Al?
Just want to let y'all know that March 7th,
yes,
the Mighty Men of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, New Chi Chapter, East St. Louis, will be hosting our 3rd annual Mardi Gras party at St. Louis Lambert Airport. Yes, it is inside the airport.
Yes. What is it? Terminal B?
Concourse B.
Concourse B, right.
Concourse B. We were the first to ever do it, and we're going to keep doing it.
Right on.
At the airport.
At the airport. Yes.
And y'all can't act a fool.
Yeah. Hey, and listen to all the listeners out there, everybody on live, we appreciate y'all. But to piggyback off that one, to let you guys know, the Lions Den will be there live. We'll be there live at the party, and we will be talking with individuals there, talking about not just who they are, but what they're doing with the community and how they're giving back. But we want to thank y'all. Oh, you got something now?
Also, if you want to purchase tickets, you can go to eventbrite.com/New Kai's Mardi Gras.
New Kai's, or can you spell that?
New Kai?
Yeah.
It's NUCHISMARDIGRAS.
All right. There you go. Y'all heard it. And if you follow the page, make sure you do. If you haven't, shame on you. But get back on it. We're going to make sure we put the links out there. But we want to thank y'all. Thank y'all for being thank you, brother. Come on back. Miss Yo, thank you, ma'am. Big Al, you know what I'm saying? It's always a pleasure.
Appreciate you.
You know what I'm saying? But we want to thank y'all. And everybody that's watching, thank y'all. Round of applause for y'all for coming on through. Because y'all didn't have to. And we will see y'all again on another episode of the Lions Den.
Right. Thank y'all for
We hope you enjoyed today's show. Make sure to listen to the show on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, and Radio Public, where you can subscribe, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you like or dislike this episode, we'd appreciate your feedback on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Lionscast. Check out the book, The Black Collar Mindset, The Art of Strategic Thinking, on Amazon, or www.theblackcollarmindset.com, a manual to maneuver through life strategically by holding yourself accountable. Tune in next week for another episode of The Lions Den with Seth.